Jamaicans and small businesses impacted by Hurricane Melissa are set to receive much-needed assistance following a new partnership between two charitable organizations. Alia Bryant has the details.
It's been 3 months since the passage of Hurricane Melissa, and communities across the island continue to rebuild, often with limited resources. Now, a new partnership is expected to strengthen those recovery efforts. The Bread's Treasure Beach Foundation recently signed a memorandum of understanding with the Blue Maho Charitable Foundation, paving the way for wider and more coordinated support to vulnerable individuals and businesses. Chairman of the Bread's Treasure Beach Foundation, Jason Hensel, says the foundation has created a 4-phase recovery program.
Phase 1 being water, food, tarpaulin, small generators. Phase 2 would have been the building back of livelihoods, so fishing wire for fishermen, farming vouchers, businesses getting small grants. Pelican Bar is probably the one that most people would know. Getting Pelican Bar back on its feet or back in the sea was extremely important. Not because of Pelican Bar itself, but because Pelican Bar keeps so many boat tour operators and taxis working. The livelihood that that little bar, that tiny little bar creates is a multiplying effect, the likes of which very few people would really understand.
Mr. Hensel says the final phase of the program will focus on repairing damaged roofs for those most affected.
We've been buying material, giving vouchers to hardware companies that we have arranged discounts with. And then we want phase 4 to be a legacy project. Now, it's important to have a legacy project, I feel, because, as they say, never waste a disaster, right? And try and have something to mark the moment. So we are going to build a Treasure Beach Health Clinic, and we're also going to create, and we're also going to create a construction skills training certification with heart.
And Executive Director of the Blue Maho Charitable Foundation, Sophia T. Harris, says the organization's mission is to help micro and small businesses across the island rebuild through unconditional grants.
Funding alone is not enough. We know this. Execution must be transparent, accountable, and community-focused. Your partnership ensures every grant reaches its intended recipient with transparency and care.
Alia Bryant, TVJ News.
The 2 men who were shot and killed and their bodies discovered in an abandoned yard in Norwood St. James on Tuesday have been identified. They are 24-year-old Linval Watson, otherwise called Brian or Beanie, and 23-year-old O'Neill Gray, otherwise called Cece, both from St. James addresses. TVJ News has learned that the men went to Norwood to purchase illegal guns when they were killed and their money stolen. The double killing has broken the 2-year record period without a murder or shooting in the zone of special operations there. A curfew is now in effect in the community. There is a renewed call for truck operators to properly secure their loads while traveling along the Paul Bogle Highway in St. Thomas. This after a motor vehicle crash involving a Marquez car on Wednesday. It is believed that fallen gravel from the truck transporting the material may have caused the accident.
Pebbles on the road is creating havoc on St. Thomas Road. So, if the relevant authorities could just come together and just see what can be done to alleviate unnecessary accident.
It is very difficult to clean up, and sometimes when we clean a section of the roadway, by the next day it goes back to the same. So we are asking for the help from the corporation along with the police if possible to see how best we can clamp down on the overloading of the trucks that are causing these challenges along the road.
It's time for a break. Stay with us for stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News. It's time for the Business Minute.
Tax Administration Jamaica says employers may provide tax-free cash support of up to $200,000 to employees affected by Hurricane Melissa between November 1 last year and March 31 this year. According to the TAJ, the payments must be strictly for personal recovery and welfare related to loss or damage caused by the hurricane. The agency says employees who receive the support will not be required to pay PAYE, education tax, national insurance, or National Housing Trust contributions on the amount. The $200,000 may be paid as a single sum or installments during the period, but the total must not exceed the cap. The measure forms part of the government's tax-free wage relief program for workers impacted by Hurricane Melissa. Further afield, Google's parent company Alphabet said on Wednesday it plans to double its AI spending this year. It plans to spend up to $185 billion in 2026 as it builds artificial intelligence data centers in the U.S. It spent more than $90 billion in 2025 on such AI projects. The higher projected spending comes as Alphabet's annual revenue passed the $400 billion mark for the first time last year. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Prince Moore.
Time now for the top regional and international stories.
In the region, United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres says he's extremely concerned about Cuba's worsening humanitarian situation as the island faces critical oil shortages. Guterres warned that conditions could deteriorate or even collapse if Cuba's energy needs aren't met, urging dialogue and respect for international law. The crisis deepened after disruptions to oil supplies, including reduced shipments from Venezuela and United States pressure on other suppliers. Cuba is already experiencing widespread blackouts and rising hardship. And on the international scene, the man convicted of attempting to assassinate then presidential candidate Donald Trump has been sentenced. Ryan Ruth was handed a life sentence in prison by a federal judge in Florida on Wednesday. No prosecutors had argued for the maximum penalty. Ruth, who is now represented by an attorney, chose to represent himself during the trial. According to prosecutors, he laid in wait for Mr. Trump at his West Palm Beach golf course in 2024. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Aaliyah Bryant.
Thank you, Alia, and that's a local segment of the Midday News. When we come back, we'll have your Midday Sports Report.